How old is snow?
How cold? Not old.
How
How cold
is
snow?
Snowflakes are water droplets that have frozen into crystals of ice. To stay frozen, they have to be a freezing point that is 0
Okay.
C. If they get any warmer than this, snowflakes melt and fall to the ground as rain.
Okay. Then snowflakes are water, a droplet, frozen into crystal of ice. To stay frozen, they have to be at freezing point. That's 0 C, okay? If they get any warmer than this, snowflake melt and fall to the ground as rain. So what about this one? Can you read it?
The biggest snowman that ever built was then 22 meters high. That was about the
Seven-story building. Okay, how about this one? Have you ever heard?
Have you ever heard of the showers of frog or fish? Sometimes, well, they do happen. The animals are sometimes sucked up from the ponds by extra strong winds. Later, they fall to the ground as rain.
Did this happen?
No?
So it sounds very weird,
Yeah.
Okay, now this one. Paraphrase. Okay. The first one.
Have you ever even seen
Frogs and fish fall from the sky.
It can happen when strong winds pull them up from lakes.
Strong wind can pull them up. Okay, strong wind. Okay. Did you feel the strong wind?
Yeah.
There was a hurricane or big storms coming.
Yeah.
Then even bike can be flown. Okay.
Yeah.
In the sky.
Not even.
Tornado.
No.
Not in Korea, but in America. Okay.
Not
even tornado.
The elephant can.
Elephant can fly. Okay.
What?
Because when there's a strong tornado, okay, coming up, okay, when tornado sucked up this big elephant, okay, really it happened. Okay, the strong wind, the tornado pulled them up, okay, from the lake or from the ground. Later, can you keep reading?
Later,
they come down with the rain. So snowflakes are tiny drops of water that turn into ice. Snowflakes. So what is snowflakes?
Is tiny droplets of
water, okay, that turns into ice. There must be 0 C, okay, colder to stay as snow. If it's warmer, they melt and become rain, okay? So giant snowman once stood over 22 meters tall, as high as a building with 7 floors. Okay, can you read that part? A giant snowman
once
stood over 22 meters tall, as high as a building with 7 floors. Paraphrase 2.
Believe it or not, frogs or fish can fall from the sky. That happens when very powerful winds
lift them or pull them up, okay? Then out of bodies of water,
and then they come back
down when it rains. Snow forms when water droplets freeze into ice crystals. They remain frozen at 0 C Celsius or below. Okay, what about the last sentence? If the temperature rises above freezing, they melt and fall as rain instead. The tallest snowman on record was over 22 meters high, roughly the same height as a 7-story building. Okay, can you read the last part? The tallest snowman on record
was over 22 meters high,
roughly the same height as a 7-story building. What about number 3? There have been real instances of frogs or fish raining from the sky. One more time. There have been real instances of frogs and fish raining from the sky. These animals can be swept into the air by intense wind systems. Later, descend with rainfall. One more time. There have been
real instances of frogs or fish raining from the sky. These animals can be swept into air by intense wind systems and later descend with rainfall.
Okay. Next one. Snowflakes originate from water droplets that freeze into ice crystal. Snowflakes originate from water droplets that freeze into ice crystal. To stay in solid form, they must remain at below 0 Celsius. You see, Celsius, okay? If the temperature exceeds this threshold, they melt and come down as rain. A record, can you read it? Record-breaking
snowman was once
constructed, measuring more than 22 meters in height, comparable to 7-story building. Okay, number 1, can you read it? Number 1.
Have frogs or fish
fallen from the sky?
Yes, sometimes
strong winds can lift them out of water and drop them with rain. Number 2, how do frogs and fish end up falling like rain? They get sucked up by a very strong wind. And later fall to the ground when it rains. One more time. How do frogs and fish end up falling like rain?
They get sucked up
by very strong wind, later fall to the ground when it rains. Okay, number 3. What are snowflakes made of? Snowflakes are frozen water droplets that become ice crystal. One more time. What are snowflakes made of?
Snowflakes are
frozen water droplets that become ice crystal. One more time. What are snowflakes?
Snowflakes are frozen water droplets that
become ice crystal. At what temperature does snow stay frozen? Snowflakes stay frozen at 0 degrees Celsius or below. One more time. At what temperature does snow stay frozen?
Snowflakes stay frozen at 0 degrees
Celsius or below. 5. What happened to snowflake if the weather gets warmer?
If the
temperature goes above freezing, snowflakes melt and become rain. How tall was the biggest snowman ever built?
It was over 22
meters high, which is about the height of a 7-story building. One more time. How tall was the biggest snowman ever
It was
built?
22 meters high, which is about the height of a 7-story building.
What makes the idea of animals falling from the sky up surprising?
It's surprising because
We don't usually
usually
expect to see animals coming down with rain. Have you ever seen
No.
animals coming down with rain?
No.
No, I've never seen that. Okay? Okay, let me ask you questions. You can answer me, okay? So, the first one, have frogs or fish ever fallen from the sky?
Yes.
Sometimes strong winds can lift them out of water and drop them with rain. One more time. Have frogs and fish ever fallen from the sky?
Yes.
Sometimes strong winds can lift them out of water
and
drop them with rain. How do frogs and fish end up falling like rain? They get sucked up by a very strong wind and later fall to the ground when it rains. One more time. How do frogs and fish end up falling like rain? They get sucked up. They get sucked up by a very strong wind and later fall to the ground when it rains. One more time. How do frogs and fish end up falling like rain?
They
Get sucked up by a very strong wind. Later
they
fall to the ground when it rains. What are snowflakes made of? What are snowflakes?
Snowflakes are made of ice crystals.
Frozen water droplets that become ice crystal. One more time. What are snowflakes made of?
They're made of ice.
Snowflakes are
Made of
frozen water droplets that become ice crystal.
They become ice crystals.
At what temperature does snow stay frozen? Snowflake stay frozen at 0 degrees Celsius or below. Okay, number 4. At what temperature does snow stay frozen?
0. Snowflakes stay frozen till 0
Degrees Celsius or below.
Celsius or below.
What happened to snowflake if the weather gets warmer?
It can melt out as rain and
Yeah, if the temperature goes above freezing, snowflakes melt and become rain. How tall was the biggest snowman ever built? It was over 22 meters high, which is about the height of a 7-story building. One more time. How tall was the biggest snowman ever built?
It was built by 22
Meters high, which is about the height of 7-story building. One makes the idea of animals falling from the sky surprising.
Animals can fall by the rain, the strong wind.
It is surprising because we don't usually expect to see animals coming down with the rain, okay? One more time.
It's surprising because we don't see animals falling by rain.
Surprising because we don't usually expect to see animals coming down with rain.